We are live. Namaste, Adab, Sasyakal, Bonsoir. I am Ashish Banka, curator of HR Sampark and people leader. Thank you so much, audience, for coming back again and igniting me to do some interesting podcast sessions. Last two have been very nice. Today, on the heavy demand of the people leaders who are turning into entrepreneurs, they wanted to hear somebody's journey to get a note that how you can build your journey towards what are the nuances, what are the challenges. और ये सब करते वक्त मेरे को किसी और का याद नहीं आया बट आई जस्ट रिमेम्बर्ड यादव सर. RP Yadav sir has been a stalwart. He has been since I started my HR career in Calcutta way back in 2011, if I recall correctly, meeting him in NHRD and ISTD conferences. He has been not only a successful businessman, a great entrepreneur, or somebody whom we have looked upon, but I think a great human being. I have seen him, his journey, his personal life has been tremendously inspiring for all of us. And he has been kind of a father figure for all of us who have been budding professionals. And I'm really happy to receive his blessings and love all the time. This is not the first time he's there. In fact, this is the fifth time he's there, gracing this occasion with his magnanimous presence. Let me give you a brief introduction of Yadav sir. Yadav sir is chairman and MD of Genius Consultants. Everybody knows Genius Consultants. We have been partnering with Genius in last assignment with Reliance heavily. They are into staffing, payroll, you name it, and they are there. And आई थिंक जैसे बाहुबली में बोलते थे वचन ही शासन है, वैसे आर्चर का नाम ही उनका पहचान है. आई थिंक द काइंड ऑफ क्वालिटी सर्विस विच ही हैज detrimentally maintained, being entrepreneur of the year, awards, everything. I think this is what we will talk about today. Not what he has achieved, but the story behind it. And I was saying him of the backstage के अंजाम तो सब देखते हैं, आगाज के बारे में बात करेंगे.
Mhm.
Welcome you, sir, and deeply honored to have you again in our Sampark forum, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ashish. I'm also honored and I'm so happy to be connected with you and the fraternity of HR because the love, the networking, and the support which I have received from the HR professionals, I will always be obliged forever in my life. Because when I started the journey, I was not from the HR background, I was from the marketing background. So throughout the journey, I have to learn the HR, the nonsense of HR. So I kept on learning, and thank you very much that you have given me this opportunity to interact with you. And in any way, if I contribute and it sparks someone to be an entrepreneur, I'll be too glad. I'll be too happy that somebody have become entrepreneur with whatever little knowledge I have gathered during the last few years.
Folks, the first thing which hits when we visit RP sir's LinkedIn is one company, 31 years, and 3 decades of this entire journey. And we changed 10, 12 jobs in 30 years, and he has sticked on to this. So, the first thing which comes, how did this idea came up to you to start an entrepreneurship way back when things were very difficult, very different? How did it? What was the thought which ignited you to jump into entrepreneurship?
Okay, so Ashish, for anything there is a reason behind this. So for starting Genius, there are a couple of reasons. I think I was born to be an entrepreneur, but because the family background was poor, so as a result, I had to get into the job. So just after my graduation, I got into the job. I worked with quite a few companies, and I worked 16 years. Uh, but during my journey as a poor, I was selling newspaper home to home. Then I was selling vegetables on the road. When I was in the class 8 to the graduation, that is the time I sold vegetables and newspapers home to home. During that time itself, the newspaper which I used to sell home to home, I converted into a wholesale business. So I was earning enough money to finance my study and as well as take care of my family. So I think that was the entrepreneurship is something which was given by the god to me. But subsequently what happened, I got into the job, I worked 16 years. In the last job, the owner, the promoter, the business farms limited, I was a general manager, and I was looking after a business of about 200 crores with 6 offices and 4 plants across the country. So I was responsible for all except the accounts and finance. So he went to Delhi, and he in the Delhi he sacked 6 people in the office. 6 people were in the office only. I think there was some fraud, and in the factory he sacked 3 people. So 9 vacancy got created, and he came back to Calcutta, and he said, "You go to Delhi and build the team once again, RP." So I went to Delhi. I stayed in the hotel, and in those I stayed about 10 days in Delhi, and 10 days I contacted all kind of consultant in Delhi, while connecting with all kind of consultant, and dealing with them, getting the resume, getting interacting with them, doing the interview, and finally getting selected the people. And I was able to select all people. Out of that, the 9 vacancy which was created, 4 people joined, and 5 people will be joining after some days. So I came back. But by doing this exercise, I understood that this is the business I will do one day, and I'll make it big. So some वो बोलते हैं ना, दिल का एक घंटी बजना, तो वो प्यार में बजता है, ये बिजनेस में बजा. तो दिल का घंटी बजा कि यही बिजनेस मुझे करना है. And I came back, and I 2.5 years I did the research, Ashish. See, because anything which you start, if you don't do the research, you don't have a good understanding. And I also became impanel consultant on Sunday with other consultant.
Hmm.
So one, I was doing the research. Second, I was learning while being a consultant on the impanel consultant on somebody on Sunday. And so that's how the 2.5 year passed. And after 2.5 years, I resigned from the same company, and I started Genius, and Genius was born like this way.
Very nice, sir. I think the word appropriate genius is really ingenious. एंड दो लाइन आपकी जर्नी के ऊपर बहुत याद आ रहा है कि मुश्किलों में भाग जाना आसान होता है, हर पहलू जिंदगी का इम्तिहान होता है, डरने वालों को कुछ नहीं मिलता है जिंदगी में, लड़ने वालों के कदमों में जहान होता है. So I think you have really, done. Let us move the paradigm while sir you were doing, and we will not talk about the difficulties at that time because bygones are bygones, and now the paradigm shift has changed.
Yeah.
सबसे पहले सर is, do you feel a competition nowadays where so much of opportunities is there and so many competitors is there?
Ashish, I think the world was competitive earlier also, and today also, and it is always competitive. I think competition is what you visualize and what standard you set in the company, or you set in your life. For example, if Genius last year was 1800 crore company with 600 plus employees and about 75,000 outsourced employee. Now these are the broad parameters. So in the conference, we decide, okay, next year will be 2,500 crores. So that 1,800 to 2,500 crore making is actually compelling yourself to be competitive. 600 employee to 830 employees to make it next year is a compelling competition for you. Even you make yourself competitive because there is a social media, and every social media has a likes, dislikes, followers. So you have a target set in the company. Like we have a communication department. In the communication department also, you set a target that on LinkedIn, okay, last year my followers were this many, likes were this much, so next year my competitor has this much, so I should have this many followers. Now, in order to make that many followers, obviously you have to create a content, you have to create a story, you need to create videos, you need to create film, and based on that will go. So competition, it was always there, and it is always there, and always it will remain, Ashish, in my opinion, subject to you want to become competitive. You are not. I have quite a few friends who are in the business. They are very content. So whatever they are doing relaxed way, and they don't feel competitive. They have a niche business, and within the niche business they are very happy, and they don't have that ambition. So uh, competitive is directly proportionate to, in my opinion, to, the ambition which you have, your company have an objective, and as an individual you have a your ambition.
Very nice. I think that this is not only for an entrepreneur but also for an individual who are into corporates and building their career.
Yeah,
Like one company which comes to my mind is Purple Quarters, who
yeah,
does only staffing solution for finance people only, like executive search for finance people only. Like
yeah.
if you are not a finance or CFO, they will not do for any other roles. They are happy doing that, and they have become very big in India
Hmm.
now. How we are. I also want a question, sir. Like there are almost around 400 people in the group which we have who are supporting, and I call them HR enablers. Partners or consultants is the bygone, so we generally associate them with enablers. All these enablers have one question: is most of them are linked to the business. Like if they bring more business, they are better off in the organization,
Hmm.
or they keep searching jobs. Some of them are entrepreneurs, which they're finding very difficult because the kind of business they don't get. And most of them are into staffing solution and executive search only. While most of the hiring has gone down, and the pandemic, post pandemic, people have been very conservative of expense. How do you see the paradigm of staffing as well as executive search going?
See, the two are different. Executive search and staffing, two are different. See, but both are complementary to each other. So any person who starts executive search, so in the old time, executive search was only, consultant like us. We used to do the search. Either, junior positions, or middle position, or senior position. Hardly any company had a recruitment department. But today it has completely changed,
Correct.
because in those days the database was not there. Centralized data. Today centralized database like Monster, Naukri, and many companies have already. So the database, the pool of database is available. So every company have a recruitment department. Now, as an executive search company, or in a recruitment company, or a recruitment person, if you want to build a career, or you want to build a business in that, you have to clearly define, knowingly, that every company have a recruitment department. The data pool is the same. That way, Naukri or Monster is the same. Data pool is the same. What differentiation I bring to the client so that he comes back to me. So the differentiation you will have to bring, how fast you are quick in the search, how quick you are doing search, by research way you are doing the search, and you are matching the requirement, and you are doing the understanding of the profile, and understanding about the company, their product, their processes, and based on that you deliver fast, which their recruiter in the company cannot do. Then you will be successful, which is about the executive search. Now for the staffing, if anybody wants to come, or anyone come. So staffing has become today, I would say, you should have a fund, first of all, because in my time it was the company used to pay us first, and then we used to pay the salary to the resource which we had. Today it is a different way. Today you have to pay the first, and raise the bill to the company, and company will pay you. So the fund requirement has become large. That's so that is the one factor. The second factor is the technology, because most of the work which we do, right from recruitment to onboarding to the payrolling to the compliances to full file, full and final, the PF, the ESI, all kind of compliances, or networking, or the rating which you do, it is all technology based. So your company must have the technology also. Thirdly, if you want to sign to a large corporate or company, then you must have the network also, because a large company will have, let's say, 10 locations they are working in. So unless you have a presence in 10 locations, or the compliance registration you have in 10 locations, the client will not come to you. So these are the few things one has to understand before getting into the business. Once you understand this, that this is what a requirement, one can definitely enter. But remember it, no matter whatever it is, if you have a fire, and you are committed, and there is a fire inside that I want to get in the business, please get into this. And path will be created by you, and also God will create you uh, to create the path.
So I think so inspiring to hear also, sir, because one important thing which comes is when you talk about you have identified small scale and individual entrepreneurs and large scale companies separately.
Yeah.
While large scale companies will have more revenues, more threats also because so many people might lose employment if it does not work out, or if they don't expand their different facets of business model so that everybody can sustain. But let us dwell more about small scale entrepreneurs, sir, who have not been so educated but are good networked and have started that we want to start a business over 2 years, and we'll start with the executive search of positions across for a standard industry practice of 5, 7, 8.33 or 12 or whatever it is. For them, now they are into there, they have to run their livelihood also. Most of them, which we have seen a trend, and I'm sharing you a data which I pulled out, 25% of these search people have left what their business and they have tried to move back to corporates.
Yeah.
Also a data where it says that almost these people, almost 80% of them have not made, they have lost 60% of the revenue compared to the last year.
Hmm.
Now, how these people sustain, so there are a lot of people which we know who have been there, in leaps and bounds. What do you advise for these genre of people? If it is not working, should they quit, or they should keep waiting things will happen, or what they should do to become successful?
See, statistics shows or says that if 10 people starts business, two will be successful, eight will not be successful. So let's not talk about the eight people who are not successful. Two who are successful, what are the reasons behind that, and why they are successful? I think we need to discuss that, that may inspire or it will be helpful for them who want to get into business. See, when you think of a business, any business, whether it is executive search or staffing business, compliance business, or a consultant, HR consultant, or training consultant, there are many doors are open there.
Correct.
First thing is that you need to map the strength which you have. See, everybody have some good strength. God has given strength and weakness both. So let's not talk about the weakness. Everybody will have some strength. Somebody is a good communicator, somebody is a good trainer, somebody is a good listener, somebody is a good speaker, good communicator, somebody analyze fast. So first of all, he has to understand whatever is his strength. I think he need to capitalize that strength, convert that strength into the business.
Hmm.
Like in my case, my strength was my communication was good,
Hmm.
understanding of the CV, the resume or the person, vis-a-vis to the client's process business, and and the client was very fast because I had 16 years of experience, and I was a general manager and I worked with three, four good companies, so I understood the process, the person, the requirement, and the various department. So the moment I walk into office of any company and I interact with him, I will quickly understand what kind of people he requires. And based on that, I will search about data and will say कि इसमें से तीन में से आप ये बहुत अच्छा होगा, आप इसको ले लीजिए, because this he has got this. So I was able to convince also, I was able to push also. So
Hmm.
that strength is very important for any person. Once you have that understood that this is my strength, then you need to understand the market where you are working. The market means, there is a customer, he has a need, and the need has various platforms, like if you are in a training business, so the need is the training, but training, what kind of training is required, in how many hours training is required, what is that client is can pay for this training, how many people are there, whether it will be indoor or outdoor. So he should have the knowledge of this, that what is the client requirement is there, and then uh, he should have the knowledge of the finance. That means, when I do the training, immediately raising the bill, raising the GST, and then because without GST nobody will take. Otherwise, they will hold your GST unless if you have no register. But of course, GST you can do only when you have certain amount of business. So once you start the business and you deliver, then the payment. So the biggest thing is understanding the strength, understanding the customer, understanding the market, and the most important is that you must have the patience, persistence, and you must believe that you will 2 3 years you will struggle. Like in my case, when I started, I had only 70,000 rupee with me, and I earned my 70,000 rupee in just 2 months. I advertised, I made a small office in my office home only. I had one typist, I had one salesman. So I burned 70,000, and I thought कि अब तो मेरा हो गया, अब I don't think I'll be able to do that. But fortunately, the day I was thinking this, I got a call from one of my friend. He was the CEO of the company, and he said
Hmm.
कि आपने जो बायोडेटा कंपनी सेक्रेटरी के लिए भेजा था और उसका इंटरव्यू हो गया, उसका सिलेक्शन भी हो गया है, आप बिल
Hmm.
दे दो, आपको पेमेंट मिल जाएगा. And that bill was in those days of 33,000 rupees, and that 33,000 equally brought back Genius life. So this is what happens. So if uh, आपको सैडनेस जरूर होगा, but you need to understand that business, nothing will come just like that. You need to be persistent. You have to understand, to 2 3 years you will go through the rough phases. There will be rejection by the client, there will be the various discussion in the family will also discuss, आप इतना आराम से काम करते थे, आपको इतना क्या जरूरत है जाने के लिए. Friend will tell you कि तुम बेवकूफ़ी का काम किए, क्यों तुम बिजनेस में चले गए, तुम्हारे पास इतना अच्छा नौकरी था. All these I have gone through personally. I mean, all the friends, all the within the family, within the relative, everybody was saying. I was a general manager. I was having the car that time. I used to travel by the flight. तो वो सारे चीज तो नहीं रहते when you start your own entrepreneurial journey in the beginning, unless you are funded by some big fundraiser, equity investor. That is a different thing. But when you start with your own money, then in my opinion, strength, understanding the customer, the market, the patience, the persistency, and continuity, and understanding that I will go through 2 3 years rough phases, determination within the herd, that will help to pave the path and to get into the business and to make it successful.
It's a master class. Thank you so much for laying the blueprint. Matlab, I have done with all my questions. You just laid the blueprint of success of this entrepreneurship in this model. The only last question I have is HR corporate folks hanging up their boots early or later in their part, mid 40s or 40s or 30s or 50s, stepping to the consulting business. How do you look at this change? Because we never saw that. This is just a thing which has happened in 5 7 years, where corporate people who were on the other side is now on this side of the people. Senior leaders, HR
Yeah.
leaders. So how do you think, like, how it is going to boost, or is it not the right thing? What are your thoughts on this?
No, it is absolutely the right thing. There are two reasons behind this. The first reason is that the life expectancy of people in the world has gone up. In India, it has also gone up. In earlier days, 60 years means old, not capable of doing work, is having various issues related to health. But today, scenario is different. Because of the the medicine, and health consciousness. The people are very healthy till 60. In fact, I would say that the retirement age in India should be increased. It should not be now 58 or 60. It should be increased to 65, the way it is done in Europe and all, because life expectancy has changed. So this is the first reason is there. Second reason is that in earlier days, the only male used to be the earner, and the wife, the children used to not to be, so if once you retire, retirement ka kuch pension paisa aa raha, usse chalta hai. But today, when somebody retires, he sees in his in his home itself he says, or she sees that his child is also working, wife is also working. If the child and wife all are going to office, how come he sits in the home, so that propels and prompts him to to be continued, to maintain the continuity, either as a consultant or even as a job, as a retainership or a part-time job. But anybody who, in my opinion, retires, after retirement, one should definitely get into either as a retainership or as a consultant or any business which they feel, but again, there the I think the parameter is that he must understand in which he is very strong. Is he strong in the training? Is he strong in the recruitment? Is he strong in the designing the HR policy of a company, compensation policy of a company, leave policy, or the complete HR policy of the company? Based on that, one should plan, and then one should utilize his contacts, because when you are retiring at the age of the 60, obviously you are part of association like HR Sampark has 400 members, so have you made friendship at least out of the 400, at least with the 30 guys? Good friendship, if you have 30 good friendship with the 30, these 30 people are actually your client. So they are your prospective client immediately contact them ki, look, I have retired, but my strength has been this during my tenure, and these are my success story, and I have got so many award for this what job which I have done. I want to contribute to your company. I want to come and discuss with you, and you go there, you meet this 30, and out of the 30, I'm sure at least 4 or 5 will get converted into a client, and once this 4 and 5 gets converted into a client, that's your starting journey, and subsequently you can make 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 clients. I mean, this is
Uh,
how I started.
I think this is another masterclass for everybody. You can go on and on, but in the interest of time, we'll not make it very long, sir, because let people be curious about it and wait for another session to have another piece. Last question before the end is, sir, uh, what has been your motivator through throughout? I know you were connected personally, and family has been one of them, so very closely connected with Pritika, so I understand that as well. But apart from family, what has been one key motivator for you all throughout, and one piece of advice which you want to give all aspiring entrepreneurs to do at this juncture as they start their success journey?
I think, see, the motivating factor for me, one, of course, is the family. And that is for, I think, everybody, Second motivator is your health also, whether your health is good or not. If your health is good, once your health is good, Ashish, then you feel like going out, going to gym. You like I like to play the golf. You like to go to office. You like to work throughout the day, because your health is very good. Your family is backing you, and the third motivator is, the team which I created. They all stayed with me. So because the team is there, so there the team motivates you that the target or the objective which you have set this year, it should be bigger next year, because ultimately this team also has to grow. Their family has to grow. Their compensation has to grow. Their position has to enrich. I mean, if today they are general manager, they have to become vice president. They have to become CEO. Now, in order to become from let's say manager to CEO, you need to create a space, and the space can be created only when there is a growth and there is a business in your company. So, in fact, in my time, I kept opening the offices. I opened my first branch in Chennai, and I must tell you, 2 years it was in loss. So many people used to ask me, why do you need to open a branch to make a loss for 2 years? But if I don't open a branch, I don't create a footprint to go all India. How do I accommodate the aspiration of the people which I have taken the team? So your team, your family, your health, your competition, the whole society becomes your motivator for you, and you get motivated and inspired, and you grow up in life, and you make others also to grow as a as a professional or as a business person.
Wow, sir, matlab, I can just say it is wow, to hear from you always and keep hearing. I think really people are blessed to be part in your team. I can just want to say last thing is ऊंचाई कोई आपकी छू ना सकेगा क्या हैसियत आपने बनाई है। ऊंचाई आपकी कोई छू ना सकेगा क्या हैसियत आपने बनाई है। आज के इस सेशन में आपने क्या समा बताई है। So thank you so much, sir, for your master class. I think very, very intrinsic takeaways which we have taken, and we look forward to implement that in our journey as a promise from the fraternity to you, because every learning should come in execution. And we will never give up, sir. I think as an entrepreneur, thought process, what we have learned out of this one takeaway: never give up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable 30 minutes. These are like 30, 30 golden years for anybody to come and listen to you. But really, a great pleasure to have you. And bottom of my heart, thank you, sir, for your time. It's really, really
Thank
blessed.
you, Ashish, and thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye bye, sir. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
sir.